everyone, welcome to our channel where my dad and I play games, old and new, and give our thoughts on how they appeal to different generations.
Today, we are joining the choir to give our take on the news release for the PlayStation 5, Astrobot, a quirky little platformer brought to us by Team Asobi, a spin-off of sorts from the tech demo that was Astro's Playroom. Fans have been begging for Astro to get his own full game for years now, so let's see if they did the little dude justice, or if we should be careful what we're asking for. Like any good platformer, the story here is very simple. It just serves as an inciting incident to justify the game's existence. Much like in Mario, where Green Turtle captures Princess, Plum has to go and save the day, here, Astro and his friends are cruising through space inside a giant PlayStation 5 when a big green alien appears, rips the ship apart, takes the components and Astro's friends, and heads off into the galaxy, sending Astro crashing to a small planet nearby. Astro wakes up, hops on a DualSense 5, and zips off to try and save the day. It's a very simple story, but it doesn't need to be anything more. A game like this does need to be some labyrinthian tale about the human experience. It just needs to justify its own existence, and Astro does that. From a character standpoint though, this game really shines, and not in Astro himself. Don't get me wrong, the little dude's adorable. But what Astro's Playroom does so wonderfully well is capture the essence of PlayStation's history. All the little bots you find, whether it be Ken and Ryu, or Tyr, or Ark the Lad and Dart from Legend Dragoon popping in, all of these characters really showcase the wonderful history that Sony has. And all the nods they have, like characters from Resident Evil. Leon, for example. He walks along with a zombie creeping up behind him. And if you interact with him, they knock out for a statue, and both Leon and the zombie panic and try to figure out how to get it back on the pedestal. It's absolutely hilarious.
I agree with you, Dad, even if I don't get 99% of those references. My only complaint is, I wish the characters from Persona, like Joker and Aegis, would use their persona when you interact with them. Joker fumbling around with the calling card and Aegis overheating is cute and all, but it would have been really cool to see their persona pop up and like zap you or something.
You mean like Tyr from Suikoden?
Yeah, exactly. I've seen some people comparing this to Mario Sunshine, and I could kind of see that with Astro's laser feet. But beyond that, the game really stands on its own as a quirky puzzle platformer. Each level is bright and colorful, never super hard, but not really easy either. Except for the special levels based off of the 4 PlayStation controller buttons, those presented a great challenge. I really enjoyed how each level had its own gimmick, and it really seemed to lean into it. In some games, if there is a gimmick, you don't really need to use it. You can just blitz through. But here, the gimmick, say the monkey arms or the farting dog, are absolutely necessary to the level. I also love the power-ups. Whoever came up with the idea of a farting dog and a chicken rocket deserves an award.
Level design was a real highlight, and as you said, the creativity is fantastic. I also appreciated that the levels were just about the right size. Never too long where they got tiring, but not too short either. They do a brilliant job of balancing out the game. My complaints about gameplay really fall into 2 categories though. First, a few of the power-ups were kind of annoying, namely the penguin swimming thing and the balloon power-up. Neither one felt responsive to me, and the balloon levels were easily my least favorite parts of the game. Secondly, a few instances I would die due to just bad camera angles. Now, on all of these, I overcame it by just running the level again now that I knew what was coming. But there's something really frustrating about having a challenging part, completing it, and then falling to your death because you took 2 seconds to get your bearings after you just didn't see you landed on a glass floor. But those issues aside, this game was dang near flawless from a gameplay perspective. Graphically speaking, this is one of the few games I've played where I sat back and said, now that is next gen. Everything about this game from an art style direction is just flawless. From a character design standpoint, where the different bots look like characters from old PlayStation games, whether it be from Tekken, or Uncharted, or God of War, or Horizon Zero Dawn, all of these bots look so adorable. They really embody the characters they're supposed to be portraying. So, for example, Laura Croft will be running from a raptor, and if you trip her, the raptor will pounce on her, and it just looks hilarious. There's so much love and care put into this, and I love, as we said before, the whimsy of this game and how colorful it is and how bright it is. That's not even touching upon just how well everything's put together, from the water effects to the snowball growing as you roll it around and how beautiful it looks. There's a lot of care and love that's been put into this game, and it really shines through.
The music was extremely good, and I really loved it. It also seemed like every level had its own music. I'm sure I'm wrong, but it just felt that way. It was nice and varied. Some levels were good and calm, others were passionate and engaging, some were just goofy and whimsical. One particularly cool thing to me was how they remixed songs from other games. So the God of War level had the God of War theme, but remixed into like a techno beat. There's something special about just wanting to sit the controller down to bop along to the music because it's such a jam. This is a wonderfully whimsy game, and what makes it better is it felt like a natural evolution of Astro's Playroom, which made me really happy, as I love that game. There were several things that popped out that were either taken right from Astro's Playroom or were variations of it. There were also things like the main villain, where you finally get his name at the end and it's just the intergalactic space bully. So for all that time you spent saving your friends and stuff like that, the main boss is a giant cartoon bully. The bosses themselves were also very creative, like the snake, for example. She shoots venom at you, and you have to use the rocket chicken to get on the other platform.
I really like the genie fight, where you use the farting dog to return his golden skulls back to his face. I agree with you though, the creativity and wonder here is absolutely top notch. This is exactly what everyone hoped an Astrobot standalone platformer would be.
So in the end, I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10. I really, really enjoyed it, and will absolutely go back to it. My big complaint with this is I wish it had some kind of multiplayer. It would have been really fun to sit down with a friend and do this together. I also agree with Dad about some of the levels being a little difficulty, especially with the splashing sprint. The game goes from breezy fun to, oh my god, what the is going on?
So, a skill problem?
Come on, I thought we were done with this joke.
Never! Honestly though, outside of Splashing Sprint, I didn't find the difficulty that bad. For the most part, it was just right. I'm a bit surprised by your score. I'm gonna go higher. I'm giving Astro a 9.75 out of 10. This is by far my highest rating yet. This is pretty dang close to being perfect. There are a few little things that keep it from being a 10 for me, but I have to acknowledge the nostalgia of it all. This game is a fantastic love letter to Sony's past, which makes them talking about how they lack original IPs even more frustrating. But seeing things like Tyr use the Soul Eater, Ken and Ryu's fist bumps, Arc and Dart popping up, and my personal biggest surprise, the Intelligent Cube bot. As I mentioned in our Zawa video, my mom passed away in 2019, and Intelligent Cube was the one game she would sit and play for hours. There's something very special about seeing a goofy little bot pop up and suddenly you have a tear in your eye and are transported back decades to where you're begging your mom for a turn on the PlayStation. Team Asobi absolutely nailed this game, and I really hope Sony takes the right lessons away from this.
So those are our thoughts on Astrobot. Did you stop the bully and save your friends? Or are you adrift in the lost galaxy? Whatever your thoughts, comment below and let us know. And as always, please support us with a like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks everyone!